the corner, Berry.
Rick Berry has not missed a free throw against Washington. Now it is Berry. Back to Clifford Ray. Goes to Rick Berry.
Golden State getting that ball moving. Intended for Berry. Berry, look at that pass. Rick Berry, look at that shot, would you?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Berry wants to make a move and three. There's the Berry. He's got his shot.
Hello, everybody. Rick Berry back here. Been on the sidelines for a while. Got like the stupid flu that's going around, so it took a couple of weeks to get myself back to where I can talk and function again. But everything is good. Hope all is good with you people getting ready for what I hope is a blessed holiday season for everyone, regardless of what it is that you're celebrating. Got a lot of things coming up here pretty shortly. Unfortunately, we didn't get a really good early Christmas present. We got an early Christmas nightmare. When you're talking about the Warriors, Steph Curry, man, I guess you always have to be the optimist. So you got to look at it and say, hey, he didn't require surgery. So that's a bonus, because if he had surgery, that might have been it for the season. So hopefully the rehab will go well. He'll get himself back in there. But there's a lot of things to talk about now. And my biggest concern, Cyrus, is, are they going to dig a hole so freaking deep that they'll never be able to get out of it, even when Steph comes back? We have a lot of things we can talk about, but your thoughts on that? I'm really concerned about that.
Well, the fact that you're really concerned makes me really concerned, because until this point, Rick, you were always the voice of optimism. I mean, look, we're a third of the way through the season. I mean, let's just lay out the facts. They're 14-16. That's not horrible. It's not great. Not horrible. But what is horrible is owning literally, I'm not figuratively speaking here. They literally own the worst road record in the NBA at 2-14. And I know the fans want to hear your opinion on this, given just your accomplishments, your insights, your acumen intellectually. What is this? Is the 2-14 road record? What are your thoughts on that, sir?
They should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, we've talked about this even when they first started out. Defense is all about, in your heart, your character, showing up every night, putting it all out there on the line. It's the one constant you can have throughout the course of the season. I mean, you might not be as good sometimes as others, but you're never going to be bad. Offense, totally different. We saw what happened. Look what happened to Milwaukee in that game against Memphis. I mean, oh my God, they were down by 50 freaking points on the road. Who would have ever imagined that? So as I told you, always expect the unexpected in basketball, except for the fact that a team that is really committed to being a great defensive team will relatively stay on an even keel throughout the course of the season. They may get a little better at sometimes, a little higher, but not much lower. It's right there. Offense, as they say, it's that roller coaster ride. And so for the Warriors, their offense is what's keeping them around. I mean, you talked about some of the things there, but last in the league and record wise. Well, there's a freaking good reason for that. There's a good reason for that, because their defense sucks on the road. I mean, they're giving up too many freaking points. Opponents' points per game for the Warriors for the season, and the majority of that happens away. 26 to 117 points a game they're giving up. I mean, when you have a minus, when you're averaging 114, whatever it is, you're averaging 117, you're right there. They're lucky. Their offense keeps them right there. They give up that much, they do that. Well, it just depends who gets what in what game, Raji, for wins and losses. And for the Warriors, it's been kind of crazy. They get killed, and then they go out and they kill somebody else, and you try to figure out what's going on with this team, and you go nuts. They're very unpredictable, to say the least. But that's one of the reasons why. I mean, they're in the middle of the pack in most other things as far as the opponent's field goal percentage, but they're not that great in rebounding either. I mean, they're 21st in rebounding. So that's extra opportunities that you're giving the opponent to be able to do it. But here's one of the reasons why they're struggling. They're dead last in the league, right? For the number of free throws the opponents shoot. I mean, how do you expect to go, especially on the road, and the home team's getting more free throws than you? I mean, it's tough to make that up. I know you're saying, oh, it's only a point or two here. Well, no, during the course of a game, it could be 7, 8, 9 points, and that's a huge margin,
right,
under normal circumstances. So this is the thing that's disturbing, is that this team, they're doing some things, really well. And the thing I love, of course, thank God they're doing it. First in the league in assists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And because they pass, they move. And here's the thing, they'd probably be better if guys were making higher percentage of their shots. So, I mean, and it's still up there at number one. So that's an impressive thing. You love to see that. 3-point shooting, they're fifth in the league, up at 38%. Awesome, right? Their field goal, free throw percentage is disappointing for me for the Warriors because I want them to be an 80% free throw shooting team. But I'll tell you, this is the thing that's probably impressed me more about the NBA in recent years is teams have gotten to be very good free throw shooters. There's a lot of teams shooting 80% and better. Remember, I always talk that my barometer is 80%. You're a good free throw shooter. You could do that as a team. I think that's excellent, right? And not many teams were doing that, but now you got a ton of people doing it because the Warriors in free throw percentage are, let me see where they are. They're at 79.4, almost 80%. That's only 12th in the league. 12th. So the bottom line is they're mediocre in a lot of different things. Their offense is, keeping them going. The fact that they're playing good, unselfish basketball is good. But there's too many kinks in the armor, so to speak, to use a cliche. They've got too many things to be concerned about. And the win-loss thing, obviously, is a big thing to even qualify to make it into the freaking playoffs. And, yeah, sure, teams are all bunched up right now, but with Steph not playing, hey, they go on an extensive losing streak, and they're going to be in big trouble and trying to go ahead and trying to get that back because the competition is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
A lot of teams are getting better. In the Warriors' case, that's not true. I thought they were on the verge of starting to do it, but now this injury to Steph, I mean, that hurts again on the road. And they played really well through almost 3 quarters. It was the last part of the third quarter when they got outscored 12-0. And what happened? And it comes back to these same things we talk about all the time, Cyrus. Turnovers.
Yeah.
They're one of the worst teams in the league with turnovers. 29th.
Oh.
29th. So you're giving people more free throws. You're turning the ball over more, giving them more opportunities to score, and you're giving up 117 points a game. And hey, but I would imagine, I try to find the statistic. What's their average on the road? It's not 117 points a game. I can guarantee you that. They're getting killed on the road.
I'll find that for you.
They're getting killed. I mean, they give up too many points, 128 points. I mean, it's tough. Very tough. It's hard. I was happy. They were playing so well to start that game. They were, Vincente was knocking everything down, and Looney had an amazing game. And then all of a sudden they start missing their shots. They started turning the ball over, and that's when they gave Philadelphia life. And Philadelphia, credit the Warriors. I mean, Philadelphia came back from a double-digit deficit to get it right there at halftime in anybody's game. And then the Warriors came out and got a nice little lead in the third quarter until they hit that crazy drought. And then they went 12-0 run. And basically from there, the game was over. They never were able to respond to that and come back from that. They just kind of, they fell down a little bit more. They'd fight back. I think they got it to 6 again at one point. To their credit, they didn't just give up. I mean, that's a nice thing to see. It was nice to see Wiseman doing a few nice things, the way he's running the court and doing stuff and bringing him back and hopefully get him as many minutes as they can. But Looney had a hell of a game.
Yes, he did.
Oh, my God.
He did.
Jeff Van Gundy was raving about him all the time. I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, he's like the ultimate blue-collar guy. I mean, this guy's getting a job. I mean, what do you have, a career assist night, I think, too? Right?
He did. He was 1 assist shy of a triple-double. I also got those stats for you. At home, the Warriors are averaging 120.2 points per game. When they're on the road, their offense dips to 114 points.
There you go. This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, they play worse on the road, even though their offense has helped them to win these games at home. So as well as they can, they're doing them as at home, they're doing that badly on the road. So they have to improve there. I mean, their offense isn't carrying them there, and their defense is terrible. So that's why their record is what it is. It's pretty obvious. It's not like this is some kind of a mistake. Yeah. They don't deserve to have much of a record better than that. I mean, my gosh, but the effort, at least I saw the effort there.
Yeah.
The beginning of that game, the switches, the rotations, and all the things were very, very good. And I don't know whether it's because we got a lot of young people and doing stuff, but when the game gets close or you're trailing a little bit, your focus has to get better. I mean, it really has to get even better. You can't get down. You have to get more focused, because if you're not focused, you'll be a half a step late. And if you're half a step late, trust me, folks, you are dead
Yep.
meat. They will own you. I know. You just have to be in the game mentally, and they have a tendency sometimes to not be in the game mentally the way they should be for the extended periods of time that you need to be. So we'll have to see what that happens. But again, the decisions with the basketball at such critical times sometimes when they make the turnovers that they make. Anyway,
Well,
there's a lot to be concerned with.
there, agreed. I have a few questions I want to ask you, but we also have a lot of questions from viewers and listeners. Do you want to get to that first?
Yeah,
And
please, let's do that.
all right, I'm just going to go in order here from top to bottom. I'm guessing most, if not all, of these are Warriors related. Let's start with Greg.
What specific things does a player do pre or post game to try to break some of those struggles when they're away from home?
That's an excellent question. And it's always kind of amazed me is why they're struggling away from home. I think it was easier to play on the road.
Huh.
No, seriously, aside from the fact that you don't have the fans cheering for you, I used to use the boos as cheers.
Right.
You can get into so much better of a routine and not be distracted by so many other things, especially if you're married with a family and whatever.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so you don't have so many things and people dragging you here. Do this. Oh, Rick, do this quick thing. Do a little soundbite here. Blah blah blah. You're on the road and you can focus on you should be able to focus on the game a little bit better. The problem is that I can't tell. I can tell them what to do.
I
They're
wish
not
you
gonna-
did.
Well, I don't know if they can do it. Is be focused. I mean, get your head in the freaking game. But the problem is that if I had something that I can tell people to do to actually learn how to focus and stay focused, I'd be a trillionaire, because you can't teach it.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to, the person has to find out himself, what did I do to get myself to be so mentally into this game tonight? And you have to repeat that night after night after night after night. Talk about defense being consistent. This is what should be consistent for every single player. Be ready to get your head in the game. I can honestly tell you, Cyrus, my entire professional career, one game, one quarter, it was at home, was I not ready to play mentally.
What was that one game?
I don't remember. All I remember was one game. It was at home. I was so upset with myself at the end of that quarter. If I had the ability to kick myself in the ass, I would have done it. And I vowed at that point, I will never, ever allow that to happen again.
Wow.
And that's why I'm saying it's all personal. You have to be able to find out what that is. The coach can tell you to do it. Stay there, telling players, blah, blah, blah. And I tell you, the con job syndrome. Well, you got to be ready to play. You got nothing to lose, blah, blah, blah. I said, and here for the Warriors have nothing to lose in every one of these games because nobody expects them to win now.
It's true.
That's an advantage. That's an advantage because the other team's sitting over there. Oh, Fresh, we can't lose to the Warriors. You're not at home, not against without Steph Curry. Come on.
Right.
Right? And even with Philadelphia. Well, Steph's not playing. Draymond's not in this game. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, there's no way in the world that Philadelphia thought they were going to lose that game. And they came out and played like that at the start, right? And the Warriors got going well. And then, fortunately, they got their focus back and got their heads in the game and out of another orifice that they have and actually started to play the way they are capable of playing. So that's, and that's the reality. That's what it is. That's the whole key. The players have to do some soul searching and find out what it is, because it really does come down to focus and being willing to put the effort forth and do the things that you should be doing from a team defensive concept.
Well, I've been critical of Steve Kerr this year. I think a lot of this is his stubbornness for some reason to not loosen the ropes and the leash with these youngsters. He's for some reason he's grown fond of these two-way players, Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb. One of them, and Rick, I don't know if you want to even talk about this, is just a new lawsuit came out. He was originally accused 3 years ago, and this now has been rehashed just last week, that he allegedly raped someone back in college. And
Who did that?
I'm sorry?
Who did that?
Anthony Lamb.
Really?
And I decided to actually do research on the lawsuit. It doesn't look good. I mean, look, he's not going to jail anytime soon, I don't think, but I just don't understand, why Kerr is giving these two guys so many minutes when you have these three youngsters that need reps, I think. I love your thoughts. And then it baffles me because these two don't impress me at all. I don't think they're leading to victories for the team. Your thoughts on that, sir? I don't
Well,
know, man.
that's one of the problems that we say. The key to it is the Warriors bench has got to be able to do the kind of things they've done in the past. The Warriors were successful and won all those championships because their bench was a major factor in their success.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that's the same thing when hell back. I remember when we won in '75 was, our bench was unbelievable.
Yes.
We went 10 deep. I mean, and the guys got the job done. And so this is the thing that has to happen for the Warriors. I haven't seen anybody doing things. You see little flashes, from Kuminga, doing some really nice things, and Moody does a few things here and there, but they're not getting extensive minutes. We really haven't had a chance, obviously, to see to see Wiseman. I mean, it's nice to see him out there again. He was doing some nice things. If you're looking at the numbers and stuff,
Yeah.
playing G League, which hopefully the same thing that happened to Poole will happen to him. Make it go down there, and all of a sudden, have all of a sudden maybe a meeting with God or something on the shore of that by the ocean, and having enlightenment. Son, listen to me. I'm blessing you. Go back to the main team. And hopefully he'll do that because, man, do you see? I mean, he's just so athletic. Oh my God, he's so athletic.
Yeah, I think he needs reps. Do you want to hear from Jack?
Sure.
Here's Jack with a question for you, sir, and us.
Rick, several shows ago, you weren't too concerned that the Warriors weren't doing well, and it was early in the season, and now we're over 1/3 of the way through the season, and doesn't seem like things are getting any better. Do we need to trade to get somebody, or what are your thoughts on how we can turn this thing around? Thanks.
Yeah, well, we just talked about a lot of that, prior to taking that call, and your message that you left. So yeah, I mean, it comes down to them having to do the focus. I don't think trying to make any trades. There's any trades out there going to change what's going on here. They just got to get a whole bunch of people to raise the level of their performance.
Right.
Not just one or two. I mean, there's a whole bunch of guys that got to rise to the occasion, especially with Steph being out right now, and the other guys that are up there, Draymond and Klay, and Wiggins. I mean, he's back healthy and all. Those guys have to increase their performance to certainly maintain a high level of performance for this team to have any chance whatsoever to not get lost in the shuffle for the rest of the season and not even make the playoffs, which would be just tragic.
Oh, that would be so tragic. Rick, I learned something very new, and I think a lot of people did. This report came out a week or so ago, and I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, if this bears even relevancy to how the Warriors are doing, which is that Bob Myers is currently on the last year of his contract. That seems unusual to me. I usually, successful GMs, front office execs, coaches, they get extensions before their contracts are up, especially when they're leading a dynasty. Do you think that bears any relevancy?
I think it's a very interesting situation that I'm surprised as you are that they didn't lock him up
Yes.
after what he's done.
Yes.
I mean, he's had the greatest success of any general manager in the last decade. And
multiple decades, right?
Well, I'm just saying, just the last decade for, I mean,
yeah.
the last decade with the team and what he's been able to do and the decisions that they made. And to allow, why would you allow him? Only the guy can answer that is Joe. Why would you allow him to be on the final year of his contract, knowing full well that there are going to be some big offers out there for him? There'll be some teams that would be more than happy to give him an opportunity to come in and run their organization, because God knows some of these teams over there have been horrendous at making decisions on personnel. And that's what it comes down to. I don't care. Forget who you're coaching. You better get the right personnel. It all comes down to that. You don't win championships without the players playing the game the right way. So start there, and then you hope that you get a coach that doesn't screw up what you put together. The problem is so many of these teams don't put the right players together. Then the poor coach comes in and they tell him to go ahead, the proverbial, I mentioned many times, make chicken what out of, chicken salad out of what. So, trust me, this is what this goes on. I mean, just watch it. I mean, it's so prevalent. It happens so often. I mean, it's just astonishing to me sometimes to see some of the decisions that some of these teams have made.
Oh my God! Oh yes,
so Bob Myers is in a great place. I would imagine that he will be inundated with offers. And so I would think, not having locked him up beyond this year, that it's going to cost the Warriors a hell of a lot more money, unless Bob, for whatever reason, wants to stay and live and be here and he's got his family set up and doesn't want to uproot them and take less money, because he's going to get a whopping offer. And, now the Warriors are going to have to match it, obviously. So, whereas they could have locked him up for, I would think maybe if they had done that a year or so ago during the championship run, that they could have locked him up for a considerably less amount of money. Then they're probably going to have to pay him, next year.
Yeah, so. and the Lakers would be a team I'd imagine would want him. He's got UCLA roots, even though he's from Danville. Is it Scooter or Drew that lives there? One of your kids.
Yeah, they grew up out we grew up out in Alamo and Danville.
Yeah, that's where he's from too. He's got the same roots there, so that's why but it's weird. Yeah, I just learned that a week ago, and that just was kind of like an eye opener. Like, why is he not locked in? The whole thing, this whole season's bizarre. And Rick, you're on fire today, by the way. Do you want to hear from Nicholas McKay?
Sure, and hear from anybody.
Here's Nicholas. Let's see what he has to ask.
As a rookie, you came into the NBA and immediately dominated, averaging about 26 points and making the All-NBA first team. What do you think it was that made it so easy for you to make the transition into the NBA at such a high level?
Yeah, I've talked about this before, Nicholas. Thank you. That's good observation on your part. It doesn't happen very often, and there's a very easy reason for it. Is that I spent 4 years training to become an NBA player when I was in college. University of Manchester head coach Bruce Hale was a former top NBA player in his time, and we played NBA style basketball. We played man-to-man defense. We pushed it. We ran. And so I got a chance to play 4 years, 3 years only of varsity, because you couldn't play varsity as a freshman, playing that brand of basketball. So now we're playing that brand of basketball. I go to the NBA. When I was in college, every defense and team that we played against, the entire defense was geared to one thing: trying to stop me. Okay? I go to the NBA, and now I've got one guy guarding me. That's it. I only got one guy to worry about. Not a box and one, not a triangle and two. I didn't have to worry about anything other than one guy that I had to try to beat, and then hopefully outsmart the center if he was in the right position, because I wasn't going to jump over him, unfortunately, and dunk it. I wish the hell I had that skill and talent, and I could have put on a hell of a show, because I could get by that first guy, but I had to trick the second guy. So so that's what it was, Nicholas. I mean, it was easy. It was easier for me to play in the NBA than it was in college.
Wow. Incredible. It disappoints me so much, Rick, that the Warriors don't try to utilize you more often. If Bob Myers does leave, I've heard your son Brent link to the Warriors a lot. Who knows? Maybe that'll be the start of the Barry clan kind of invading the Warriors organization. I hope so.
Well, I hope so. Brent was given the opportunity. I think they did it specifically. I can't answer. I don't know. It's just speculation on my part, because he was the vice president of basketball operations for the Spurs.
Right.
And then they moved him and put him in as the general manager of their Austin G League team. Okay. So, to me, I just said to him, to me, son, it looks as though they want you to get some training as a general manager, because R.C. Buford is probably getting close and maybe told him that he's ready to retire. And so maybe they're trying to groom you to bring you in to make you the next GM. So, I know that one time Brent was out here to interview to be an assistant to Bob Myers.
Right. The Warriors love Brent. That seems obvious to me. And maybe that's the plan here. I don't know. Good for Brent.
He loves the game. He loves the game. He loves the Bay Area. He loves the game and knows the game. He's smart as hell, and he'd be very good. Whatever he decides, he wants to do, he's going to be good at it. He's just a bright kid, and
he's your son, of course.
Well, hey, if he wasn't bright, you know me, I'd tell you he's a dumb idiot.
Oh my God, you're on fire today. Here's Jim Darby. He chums in with us regularly. Here's what Jim has to ask or say.
Hey, Rick. My name is Jim Darby, and I have a question for you. With Steph Curry being injured now, out at least 2 to 3 weeks, how would you change, if you were the coach, the offensive scheme of the Warriors, or do they just continue doing what they've done before? Let me know. Thanks. Bye.
Great question.
Yeah, it's an awesome question. And that's the decision that that Steve's going to have to make is what am I going to do with this? How am I going to answer this? Well, he put Vincente at their at point guard, who got off to like he was going to be an all-star player. My God, he had a first quarter. It might be the best quarter he'll ever have in his career. I mean,
DiVincenzo.
Yeah, DiVincenzo.
Oh, he was fantastic.
DiVincenzo. I mean that's a hell of a name, for an Irish.
It is. I love it. And I was on our yeah, and I was on our friend Paulie Mack. He hosts the KNBR morning show. I was on with him last week, and he started riffing because DiVincenzo has some of that red hair, and Paulie's like, does he got some of that Irish in him as well? But that is such a fantastic name, DiVincenzo.
Yeah, you got to pronounce it right. You got to give it the right enunciation. Just like my wife's one of her teammates. It was one of the bridesmaids at our wedding. She played with the William and Mary. Her name was LeBlanc, and you have to say that right.
Correct.
You got to go LeBlanc. LeBlanc. That's the LeBlanc, right? Somebody says LeBlanc. Claire LeBlanc. Claire LeBlanc. No, LeBlanc.
Yeah, DiVincenzo was fantastic. If there's one bench piece that seems to be doing okay, it's him.
Well, anyway, so that's the decision you got to make. So obviously, it's not a big thing. You got to put a guard in it, and hell, he played unbelievable. I wish he could have had a little bit more of that because he was insane in the first quarter, and he needed to look to be a little bit more. Man, you're going like that, man. You got to keep milking until it you get dry.
Yes, sir.
My God, the way he was doing the shit, he should be looking to shoot the damn thing every time he should. And his teammates should have been getting the ball into his hands to shoot it just like they fed, when Klay got that crazy quarter he had. Why? His teammates knew, man, they did everything they could to get him the ball. That's what he should have been doing that whole half. He took himself out of the freaking offense.
That's weird. Yeah.
He's a young guy. He's a point guard. He wants to get everybody. No. Shit, if you're going like that, man, just keep going. And he's not selfish. If somebody got open, he's going to get him the ball. He made some great passes. He sees the floor well. I like his game. I'm seriously. But he hurt himself and the team in that game by not staying super aggressive offensively because he was on fire.
That's fair.
I mean, hell, it's bad enough when your teammates do it to you. Don't do it to yourself.
What are your thoughts on Klay? Klay Thompson this has been a weird year for him.
It's been up and down. I'm telling you, he's a roller coaster guy offensively, big time. Getting back to the question that we're talking about, what can you do? Well, again, who are you going to put in there? Again, Klay didn't have a particularly great game, and so what you do is you got to get in and out. Here's the thing. With Klay, I would try. I'm just saying what I would. I did this with some players that I coached in the minor leagues. Guys that are like instant offense, the Vinnie Johnsons of the world, and the Klay Thompsons. Maybe you bring him off the bench. Bring him off the bench, and you go to him and get him shots and see if he's on.
My sentiment
for Klay, it could extend his career. He's smart enough to watch and see what's happening and doing it. I think it's worth a shot at asking him to do that. Just like, remember when they first came out, we got the first teams to go, and you had some of the veteran players, Iggy and what have you, and Lee, were asked to come off the bench.
Livingston, all these guys,
Thank you. So this is what I'm saying with Klay. Maybe say, let's try to put you in this role. This give him a chance to get some more time in there and see how Kuminga might be able to do with Poole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or Wiggins or somebody, and try those guys out. And then if somebody's not going, boom, you yank him, you put this guy in. I mean, it's like a revolving wheel depending upon how guys are going.
I 100% agree with you.
And then hopefully you get Wiseman to be a factor for size-wise to go and really get it out and run and do things and use him judiciously, but give him some more opportunity and some more minutes. Because I look at them as being the George Johnson, Clifford Ray, or the Clifford Ray, George Johnson. Those two guys together gave us superstars, numbers and stuff, and plus 12 fouls to use. One's physical, one's not. I mean, the same thing. Looney's the physical, right? And then Wiseman's the not. He's the George Johnson. I mean, I really see a lot of that with these guys being able to play the role that George and Clifford played on our championship team. I'm serious. I'm just looking at these similarities. I mean, there are a lot of little things there that can happen, that can work.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Rick. And every time I see these two-way players come into the game, my immediate reaction is,
oh, there it is. That's right. Yeah.
Drives me crazy, Rick.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you can try them out when they're there. If you're losing and you're out of the game, let's see what they do. Give them a shot to do it and try it. Hey, in this case, they got a chance to go in a game that meant something. They didn't get anything for them.
No, they got nothing.
I mean, so that's again, it's personnel. Who are going to be my people? Who's going to step up? You got to just at this stage now give everybody a shot to see it, and just it's like a constant chess game. You know, they move,
Yes.
they move. I mean, actually, let's see, better than check. It's more like checkers, because chess, it takes too damn long to make a decision sometimes. And we'll make it checkers instead. No, really, I mean, that's kind of what it is. And
I agree, sir.
That's what makes it kind of interesting to see, and that's where coaches have to come into play there, because you can't shoot for them, you can't play the defense for them. I mean, but you certainly can control their minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to hear from Reed Swanson?
Yeah, sure.
Here we go.
Hey, Rick. Reed Swanson. Love the format. Love the idea of interaction. Like your take on obviously dealing with adversity, injuries, player changes, coaches changes. How do you stay focused? How do you coach guys to stay focused? Thank you.
Wow, just talking about focus.
You bring it up something. Obviously, we covered a little bit of that in our conversation. Yeah. I wish I could teach him to be focused. I try to talk to him. I know what I did when I coached. I remember specifically when I was coaching in the minor leagues. I told the guys we had a chance to win the game. I didn't call a timeout and do something. I wanted them to see what would happen. I didn't want us to lose, which unfortunately we did. And we went in the locker room, and I told them why I did what I did. I said, here's what happened in this game. I said, you guys lost your focus. And I said, and I didn't want to call a timeout. I was hoping you guys would learn and realize that you're letting this team back in the freaking game because you thought the game was over. And so I said, that's never going to happen again. I said, because I'll take the blame. I should never have let it get to the point it did to lose a game. But if it teaches you guys something, it might be worth it, because you have to stay focused for extended periods of time. And it's really critical when you get ahead to get even more focused, because the other team is always going to give you their best shot. And if you're not ready to match their intensity, they're going to get back in this damn game.
Yes, sir.
And so as well as you played to get to the point that you have this big lead, you've got to play a little bit better right now, because the other team is going to come out and give it everything they got. And that's what? Staying focused and not getting overconfident and keeping your head in the game. So hopefully these players will learn what it is. So what I did, and I said, look, here's the deal. And I told them something. I said, in this game, you guys stayed focused for maybe 25 minutes, and it was enough to get that big lead, and then we blew it. I said, so whatever you did today before this game to get ready for this, let's do that for the game tomorrow. We were playing the next night. Let's do it for the game tomorrow and maintain that focus, and let's see what happens. So I just reminded about that. I didn't have some big old thing in the next game. I said, hey, guys, we talked about this yesterday after the game. I said, here's the board. You know what we got to do with who's we're playing and what we're doing. I said, just think about what you did to get ready and get it again, and let's take it on the court and keep it there. So we go out, and we absolutely pummel this team. I mean, it was like – and I mean, no, I'm serious. I mean, the intensity level, the focus, staying in the game for a long time, we just absolutely buried them. So we went back in the locker room afterwards, and I said, I just can't even tell you how proud I am of you guys. And I could tell you right now, if you want to be a great professional, what you just did tonight and how you were able to get yourself ready and maintain it is what you have to learn to do every time you put your uniform on. If you do that, it will take your game to an entirely new level, and you'll really be a valuable commodity to some team.
Yes, sir. Want to hear? We got one more. And just to let people know, if you jump on the show late, oh no, we got a couple more here. See, I was just about to say, you can ask questions during the show. So we got two new ones, but here's Jason Pollard first.
How concerning is it that with Steph Curry's injury and the Warriors' inability to close out games on the road this point in the season?
Okay, well, see, here's the thing, because I don't hear, we didn't look and monitor the questions and all, and so obviously we've talked a lot about this. And if you've been on the show listening to it, you got an answer to this one already. There's a lot of things that have to be done, and it is very concerning to me. I mean, extremely concerning to me, because if they don't find the necessary will and focus to play consistently on the road, they're going to dig a hole for themselves. I mean, it's not an easy schedule coming up. It really is
No.
not. They got a lot of tough teams they're going to have to play even when they get back at home.
Yes.
I mean, they just have to be ready, and that's what it's going to take. They're a little better than the 500 team they were, right, and then they're back under 500. They have to try to stay somewhere in that area.
Have to.
I mean, they got to try to find at least a 500 team when Steph is out. There was a stat they threw up on TV on the game last night that I saw that was an interesting one. The percentage of the games won without Steph and with, I mean, it's crazy. It's really low. It's a very, very low 20-something% of the games they win when Steph didn't play. I mean, so I'm just telling you, that's why I got great concern. With Steph not playing, the winning percentage for the team is abysmal. Okay?
Every stat is abysmal when he leaves. It's everything just dives. It's crazy.
Yeah. So this is this is a really crucial time for the Golden State Warriors. Right now, really
crazy.
Crucial.
You talk about that schedule upcoming, this challenge. I feel like every single game looks challenging. Like, I don't think there's an easy win for the rest of the year. If the Warriors are going to pull this off, they're going to have to take even the Orlando Magic seriously.
They got to take every team seriously because they're just the middle of the run team right now, middle of the road. They have to take every game seriously. Every game is a crucial game for them. Every game, and that's why I'm saying they have to find some way to maintain close to a 50% record with Steph out. I think it's going to be really difficult to do.
Yeah, this is concerning, Rick. Jim Cleveland wants to ask about Klay. Do you want to still hear him, or I know we touched on it?
Sure.
All right, here's Jim Cleveland.
Hey, Rick, want to get your thoughts on Klay Thompson. He's well under his career shooting percentage in the 30s, and do you see this as kind of a residual from the injury, or do you see him bouncing back and returning to form?
Yeah, okay. We've talked a lot about Klay, and I told you I've always really believed that even throughout his career, he's a roller coaster guy. Offense, I mean, when he's on, he is on, and then when he's off, it hurts. But even then, the good thing I love about it, I mean, he still takes the shots when there. You got him. A shooter has to shoot his way out of it, and he's not afraid to do that. So that's a positive thing in that regard. But yeah, he's not played. I believe that some of it maybe has to do with the fact that he didn't really want to play much or do much early. Remember, because of, going out and playing these exhibition games and what have you. I don't know if he was in really good enough shape. Correct. And for a guy who's a shooter, your legs are a critical element of your performance and your accuracy, and that may have impacted him some to get off to that slow start that he had. And then I thought he was coming back again, but again, this is him, up and down, up and down. The problem is that with Steph out, we don't need it down.
No,
we need it up. Okay, we need to stay up, Klay. Get up to your level and stay at that level when Steph being out, because we need you desperately to be at that level. Desperately. I mean, we really do. And then hoping Wiggs can get back and play at a high level, and Poole can, keep his game up high. We need every one of those guys doing that, and Draymond doing what he does, and hopefully Kuminga getting more experience. And I mean, they have players, and Moody and Wise. They have players who have the potential to be really important to the success of this team.
Agreed.
Guys, it's time to step up. Like baseball, get up to the plate, right? Get up to the plate, be smart in your selection of the pitches you swing at, right? Try to get a hit, for a baseball analogy, right? And so this is the time for you in basketball to step up, get focused, play at the highest level you have the ability to play in. It's critical to do it now. And then what you'll find out is that, wait a second, I can actually do this. So why don't I do it all the time? That would be one thing nice, wouldn't it? Jesus. Oh, my God, because that's what it's going to take. I mean, that's just the honest to God, unvarnished truth about it. These guys are at a point right now, in this season for them to step up and perform.
Yes, sir. You know, we were talking about Dante DiVincenzo earlier and his lack of aggressiveness in that loss to the 76ers. He, in the first quarter, I believe, went 5 for 6 from three, made his first 5, and then he only shot 2 more the entire rest of the game.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's
can't,
unacceptable.
He should have been shooting the ball. His teammates should have been telling him to get
Yeah.
the ball. It should have been a priority of the team for him to continue to play exactly as he was playing in the first quarter until he dried up.
Yep, you're absolutely right. What are your thoughts on Jermichael Green? This is a player who, entering this season, the Warriors got him during the offseason in the buyout market. He's a career 36.1% three-point shooter. Great stat. Unfortunately, this year, he's only shooting 23.9%.
Yeah, I know. This is what it's about. As I say, time like him, step up.
Yeah.
Get back to playing the way you were playing. They didn't get you to shoot 23%. They got you to shoot, hopefully, your normal percentage and maybe even a little better than that, okay? There's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Step up to the plate. Get it done. I mean, you need to be able to play at the highest level you possibly can. They can't afford to have a bunch of guys playing subpar. They just can't.
Yeah, you're right.
They're not going to win if that happens. They're not going to win unless 3 of the guys just have miraculous games, and for some reason the defense stays focused enough to keep the other team from scoring 115 to 120 points. My gosh, unbelievable! I got to get one more thing. I got to get one more thing out here.
Of course.
And maybe somebody will actually bring it up to us sometime. Will Jeff Van Gundy please stop talking about guys setting great screens? Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, Jeff. I mean, you were a successful coach. You do it. I even looked up my wife and said, "Oh, honey, but it's right. You're setting." I said, "Honey, you don't actually set a screen. What you do, the word set, put yourself in a position. You set yourself into a stationary position, praying that your teammate is good enough to run his man into you, thereby making you a screener." So, Jeff, please try to understand that concept, and then you should be ashamed of yourself because during the game, no, seriously, I'm getting on. I'm getting on, Jeff. During the game, he made the comment about an official. Hey, let these guys play. I mean, you got Wiseman out. He's trying to learn to do something. He's trying to set some screens and everything, and you're making a call on a moving screen. I mean, hey, Jeff, that's such bullshit. If you were the coach and an opposing guy on the other team is moving all the time on screens, are you telling me you're going to sit there and not say one word to that official about why the hell aren't you calling that moving screen? Meanwhile, here you're getting on the official for actually calling a moving screen. That's BS, and you know it.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah, and that's the truth. I mean, that was just, I can't even believe that he took that statement. Thank God. I mean, what do I talk about? Some of the most abused parts of the game today, right? Carrying the ball, traveling.
What are your thoughts on that, by the way?
Screens.
What are your thoughts about they're calling travels now? Jordan Poole.
I'm saying they're starting to find it. I said, my God, this is like a revelation. I mean, oh my heavens, they're actually going to start calling the game according to the freaking rule book.
Yeah, they are.
This guy's finally calling a moving screen, and there was a moving screen, and Jeff Van Gundy is going to give him major crap about it. I mean, come on. I was praising this guy. I said, thank God somebody's actually making the call. Call it all the time. I mean, then they came down not too many plays later after that. And if you watch the game, you want to go back and see it again. You go, and Joel Embiid right in front of the officials freaking definitely moves to do the same thing that down the other end that Wiseman did and no call.
Oh, you want to hear? We have one more question from Mark Goulart. Goulart? I don't know how you pronounce it, but here's Mark.
The Warriors have the experience and the guys to win a championship. Is it too late for them?
Ooh.
Okay, well, we got it. No, it's not. Like you say, this is the critical time. This is the critical time that the players need to rise to the occasion. Use whatever cliche you want. Step up to the plate. Show up. I mean, what the hell? Just get out there and play your ass off. Come on. Get your head in the game and play the way you're capable of playing. You guys have so much damn talent. Just put it to use. Get out on the court. Take some pride in what you're doing. You guys have a chance to still keep things together while Steph's getting better. Yep. And then that's going to help make you better so that when he comes back, you'll be an even better team.
It's the time for half-assing it is over, in my humble opinion. It's over. No more half-assing. They've been half-assing it. You could tell. They just don't give a shit, Rick. Like, you didn't have a championship hangover after your championship. They
Well,
seem to have one.
it's hard for me to believe because I warned them. I warned them about that. Remember when we talked about stuff?
Yes,
I
you
said,
did.
look, these guys have to understand these young players. You're a target.
Yep.
And it should be easy to be ready to play every game, knowing that every game, the other team has you listed as one of the prime games of their season. So how in the hell could you possibly not be ready to play every single night as a defending champion? I just don't understand that.
It's crazy. I agree. I'm with you. And a huge part of me wonders if the Draymond punch just really had reverberations.
Oh no, that has nothing to do.
You don't think so?
No, that has absolutely nothing. That has nothing to do with these. This is all individual guys trying to for themselves, trying to freaking go out and put your body on the line and play smart and get your head in the game. And at times they do it. I mean, at the start of this game against Philadelphia, it was really great to watch and see.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't only do it for 24 minutes or 26 minutes or 28 minutes. It's a 48-minute freaking game, guys. But I'm telling you, I told you as many times before. In the minor leagues, I told my team, guys, I'm not asking you for 48 minutes of that focus. I'll be happy. Give us 40 on a consistent basis and we'll win tons of games because most teams aren't going to get 40. Okay? And then we hope during the other 8 when you're not doing it, the other team's not at their best.
God, I wish you were employed by the Warriors. They need you. Have you been shifting gears for a second here before we go? Have you been watching the Bay Area is a buzz over this Brock Purdy kid starting QB for the Niners? They might win a Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on Brock Purdy? Have you been watching him?
I was happy for him. I got to watch him in that game. Kid played with a lot of confidence.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, absolutely awesome. I mean, yeah. I mean, if there was any concern about whether or not he has the ability to play at this level, I think those were answered, and he answered it pretty dramatically. The guy played a hell of a football game.
Yes, he did.
He's just a fill-in quarterback. Hey, fill-in what? It was still a regular season game that was just as important as every other game that the other quarterback played.
Yep. Well,
it just drives me crazy. It really does. When I have to listen to these talking heads and the verbiage that they use, and they talk like they really understand things. And that's a perfect freaking example. Definitely drives me freaking crazy. Oh, I mean, hey, to talk about this kid, I mean, it was incredible. Yeah, it's a simple thing when you're there. Look, I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, I wouldn't be on this show with you guys.
You're right.
Because I would be going and placing bets, and I'd be a multi-trillionaire. So I don't know the answers. So why are you asking me what's going to happen? I say this is a defining moment for this young man in his career. He's getting a golden opportunity, and if he has confidence in his ability, this is not going to be pressure for him. He's going out to do what? To play a freaking football game that he did exceptionally well when he was in college, and now he's getting an opportunity to play it here. So there should be no pressure, just great expectations. And there's a big difference between the two. You will not feel pressure if you have great confidence in your ability. So let's see what this young man does. Then we can have an intelligent conversation and talk about how well did he meet this challenge.
Absolutely.
Doesn't that make more sense to just say that instead of going on and expanding about this, that, and the everything and his weakness here and all? Let's let him play and then we'll evaluate it. That's the old putting the proverbial cart before the horse.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Rick, this was a pleasure as always. Anything you want to promote? I know. Are you back on the pickleball court?
Well, I got my Go Sleeves shirt on here, right? Nice. Go Sleeves, GoSleeves.com. You go over there and put RB24 in the code and get a nice discount. Awesome product. I mean, I when I play pickleball, I never play without wearing my sleeves. They got sleeves for your knees. In fact, I've been trying. Even I read something else to Jordan Poole. I see he's got something wrapped around the calf of his leg, and I'm trying to, say, Jordan, I said, look, please, I got this. You need to put the sleeve on. This sleeve could maybe really help you if you have something that you got to get wrapped. This sleeve is going to be better than just putting a wrap around it. It could really help you. And he wrote back and doing stuff, and I wrote back again. I said, hey, seriously, if it is an issue, I mean, I'll be happy to get one to you. Try it. I'm just trying to help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. All I've done is you try to help, and nobody wants to listen to you.
Well, the Warriors have been weird this year. Like for example, they've suddenly limited their practices. This is the team that, to the best of my knowledge, I've been covering this this organization for a long time, they've always had consistent practices, and for some reason they've stopped. They don't hold practice that much anymore.
Well, I think what happened with that incident we talked about before with Poole and
You
Draymond,
think
that's
that?
something to do with it.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't want to see things because they saw. I mean, so I'm sure that had some kind of an impact on their decision to.
Wow. Well, that's crazy. Well.
Well, yeah, it's
Oh.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So,
Yes, it is. Yes, it
but
is.
anyway, I just trying to help. I tried to do the same thing with when Draymond was hurt and had
I
the
know.
issue.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I brought stuff and had stuff sent over to him. I never got a note back. Rick, thanks for doing it. Never know if they. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's like almost an insult to me to
Well,
be
Rick,
perfect.
next week I'm or sometime in the near future, because I'm on break right now from teaching finally, and I'm gonna actually go to some practices, and I will try to communicate to Draymond that at least ask him, be like, hey, Rick Barry sent you these sleeves, see if I can
No,
get
I
any.
didn't send them. Told my game to the training staff, and I don't think they ever told them. Dorm.
Oh,
I
Rick
about
Celebrini
it at
did.
All
Okay,
Star. This is way back, before All Star when he was going through the issue and stuff.
right.
But I mean, the same thing with Poole. I mean, they had some stuff there. I mean, why would they not want to try something? This has got kinesio tape built into it. I mean, runners are going nuts over this thing. It's a great freaking product. Don't you just want to try everything you can to help the players that you have multi-millions of dollars invested in to get well and
I will
stay
bring it
well?
up. I'll bring it up with Rick Celebrini then, because I imagine he's the person, the gatekeeper, as you will, of any products like
Well,
these being
whatever.
sent over.
All I'm saying is, it just makes no freaking sense to me. And to me, it is that I can insult. I mean, I'm not expecting. Hey, just a simple thank you would be nice. Hey, Rick,
Yeah.
sending the stuff over. I mean, blah blah blah. Or, I mean, I'm just trying to be helpful. It's the same thing. I've offered to do some stuff and work with players on numerous occasions to do something. Not one ever
It's
taken up on it.
it's simple manners, Rick, to simply just
No, it's not a
communicate.
manners. It's manners. You talk to me when Jerry West wanted to talk to me to tell me stuff. Do you think I was saying, hey, no, I don't need to hear what you want to tell me?
Absolutely, of course he'd listen. It's respect.
No.
Yes, I hear
No,
you.
it's always wanting to get better, to learn and keep an open mind to things, because you never know what you can learn. Don't have closed ears. Don't close your damn eyes. Don't have tunnel vision. Always be willing to listen to what people have to say. You don't have to do it. You don't have to like it once you see it. But my God, they might show you something that can help make you better. Why would you not want to? Why would you pass up on that opportunity?
Yeah, I hear what you're
Because
saying. Don't.
coming from the source. Now, if it's some guy that comes over and he's got a bone through his nose and he's got a thing and he's from a tribe somewhere that looks like a voodoo guy, I mean, I'm not going to necessarily listen to him. Okay.
I hear you. Just be open minded. I follow your message there.
Exactly. That would be that would
Yeah.
be like, well, let's say, okay, that you're doing stuff and you're doing broadcasting work now, and Vince Scully, God rest his soul, Vince Scully wanted to tell you something. No, I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Ben, no, yeah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good. Right.
right. Or somebody in the Bay Area, or Bill King. Bill King said, "Hey, I got a pointer for you." No, 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 no. I don't know.
I'm good.
I'm good. No problem.
Rick, this is always a pleasure, sir. Everyone
Well,
can
let's let
follow
me
you.
finally close out though by wishing everyone who's
Yeah.
listening though just the best holiday season
Yes.
possible. I mean, there's a lot of things to be celebrating with Hanukkah and everything else going on, and Christmas and New Year's and some of the other Kwanzaa, whatever. So whatever you're celebrating, just have a blessed holiday season and a happy, healthy New Year. And look forward to chatting with you again. It probably won't be until mid-January because I'm heading to the Amazon to go peacock bass
Good for
fly
you. Oh my
fishing.
God. Well, look,
And
on that note, people can follow you on all social media platforms at Rick24Berry. You post phenomenal pictures on your Instagram account, which you now have access to again. I'm thankful for that. So hopefully you post pictures there and we see it, because you post amazing photos of your fishing trip adventures. So
yeah,
great.
well,
Always
I'm
a pleasure,
hoping to
sir.
get some good video stuff, and maybe I'll throw some video stuff here, but I'm mic'd up and talk
Yeah.
about it because I'm hoping to catch a double digit, 10-pound or more peacock bass, which they got some of the biggest ones in the world down there. And I didn't get to do much fly fishing the last time I went down there and caught some small ones. And I did catch an over 19-pound one on a bait casting line. That was awesome. But my picture didn't came out. The phone went nuts, and I never got my picture. So
Oh,
I'm going back for pictures this time, and hopefully
there
I'll
you go.
catch a nice big one. So, but anyway, all the best to everyone, to you and your family as well, Cyrus.
Stay with
And
you, Rick. Thank you.
God bless everybody. And let's pray for the Warriors because they need all the help they can get.
And stay safe in the Amazon, Rick. Please come back safe and sound, sir.
All
We
right.
want
Take
more.
care.
We want more of you. Thank you.